you do the show with me.
Yeah.
So you do not mute yourself for the show.
Well,
Steve.
I used to mute myself at the beginning of the show. That's when we had it.
We don't have production at this point in time. If we ever have production back, then yes, I'll have you start muting again for the show.
All right.
But until then, you can pretty much stay on the air.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you add.
I don't add much.
But you can stay on the air. That is, part of your job, I guess.
Well, I'll do better once I get the paycheck.
Yeah. Once you get the paycheck. That's nice, Steve. That's very nice of you.
Oh, someday, right? Someday I'll get a paycheck for doing this.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It doesn't make that much. So.
It doesn't make much of anything, but.
Yeah, it pretty much sucks, Steve.
Yeah.
We don't do very well.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what to tell you. It's not exactly the best of exposure that we get, Steve.
My cat just came in the room.
That's awesome. I'm so
hear?
glad. Yeah, I can.
She caught a mouse. It's in her mouth.
Great.
But the problem with that is it's an artificial mouse.
Is it a Fortean mouse?
It's not a real one. But she thinks it is. So she's parading her trophy around, showing it to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I got you.
I got rid of her. She's gone.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
She'll be back, though.
Oh, that sucks. Well, you ready to start this thing, Steve?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. This is the Fortean Slip, episode 19, Countdown to Doomsday. Tonight we will be interviewing Kaylee Hathaway, I believe is her name. If I'm
That's
wrong,
what it says in the side chat over here.
If I'm wrong, somebody fucking correct me. But before we do that, Steve?
Yeah.
Do you have any news?
Oh, we're doing the news first.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't get a cue.
Get it out of the fucking way. Nah, we don't need his fucking goddamn bumper.
But I like it.
He can sit in the chat room and
I think he fell asleep already.
Watch all the people being assholes.
We have an update to a story. This is from Vice.com.
Okay.
Update to a story we've
done. Oh, what the fuck was that?
Thank you, Richard. I appreciate it. I don't know what to do without it.
Fucking public access show. Continue, Steve.
The update. Remember the Rocket Man guy, the flat earther? Well, he finally did it. He actually took off in his rocket.
He was in the rocket?
He was in the rocket. The flat earther finally took off in his do-it-yourself rocket to prove we're all idiots.
Oh, to prove that the people who believe the earth is round are idiots.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is all of us, I hope.
Well,
I could be wrong.
I hope the majority of us believe it's round.
Yes. A few months back, and he's got the appropriate nickname, Mad Mike Hughes, a 61-year-old limo driver, amateur rocket scientist.
Limo driver / rocket scientist. Continue, Steve.
And devout flat earther vowed to strap himself into a homemade spaceship and blast off into the skies to prove our planet is shaped like a pancake. He scheduled the launch for last November, but given that his mission was kind of illegal and borderline suicidal, it kept getting pushed back. But there's a big but here. See what I did there. On Saturday, he finally rocketed himself into the air above the Mojave Desert in Amboy, California, the Associated Press said. Miraculously, he is still alive.
How did he come back to Earth? Like, did he have like a capsule or what?
Well, I'll get there. It's in the story. I've actually pre-read this story for a change. So
yeah,
I know it's rare. About 2:30 p.m., he clambered into the rocket, emblazoned with the words "Flat Earth," buckled himself in, and pulled on his helmet. After a buddy helped him close the hatch, his ship. I pre-read it, but I still suck at reading. Anyway,
we know.
After a buddy helped, I just read it in the wrong tense. After a buddy helped him close the hatch above his head, his ship rigged to a bootleg missile launching system that looked like a carnival ride. Prefer.
Use your words, Steve.
Prepared for takeoff.
Nice.
And didn't even do a countdown. He just shot himself right up into the air. He shot up into the heavens flying 1,875 feet. That's a bunch of meters for you UK folks. Into the air about 350 miles an hour. Wow, that's pretty quick, actually. Yeah. Hughes was, he finally, did it. But on the descent, he had to pull a parachute because...
Yeah, well, I kind of figured something.
Yeah, he didn't have a capsule or a well thought out plan.
So he just shot a rocket with himself into the air, and then at a certain point,
he pulled a parachute out.
With a parachute.
Yes, but he was coming in pretty fast. But just before he hit the ground, he pulled a second chute.
He's got some balls.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, that's why the guy's my new hero. I mean, yeah, I don't believe in the flat earther stuff, but he's got some balls.
Yeah,
to make your own rocket, fly 1,800 feet into the air at 350 miles an hour, and hope you live. Yeah, that's pretty. Anyway, they took him out in an ambulance, but he's fine. And
cool.
His future, he does have some future plans that don't involve. Well, they still probably involve rockets, but he is seeking the governorship of California now. So
limo driver turned rocket man turned governor.
And yeah, I think he'd make a fine governor.
Sure.
I mean, they elected Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't think he'll get elected, but okay.
Well, no, he's got a chance. I'll vote for him.
Okay.
If I can.
You don't live there, Steve. I'm
still going to try.
You live in Ohio.
Yeah, I'll move to California just to vote for him.
I doubt that.
From theguardian.com. This is like breaking news. I mean, literally. Chinese space station expected to fall to Earth within hours.
Nice.
We're all going to die.
I hope so.
Or at least I am. China's defunct Tianyong Gong -1 or -1, whatever it is, space station. This Chinese space station thing is hurtling towards Earth on Sunday, which is today, and expected to re-enter the atmosphere within hours. Most of the craft should burn up on re-entry, so scientists say it poses only a slight risk to people on the ground. The European Space Agency forecasts that the station, whose name translates to as Heavenly Place, will enter sometime between Sunday night and early Monday. The Chinese Space Agency said it should happen during the course of Monday, Beijing time, which is 7 hours ahead BST, whatever that means. The Aerospace Corp predicted the re-entry would take place within 2 hours either side of 0010 GMT Monday. Greenwich Mean Time. I know that one. Based on the space station's orbit, it will come back to Earth somewhere between 43 degrees north and 43 degrees south, a range covering most of the U.S., China, Africa, and Southern Europe. And South America and Australia as well. Out of range are Russia, Canada, and Northern Europe. How do those Canadians always get so damn lucky?
It's just the way they are, Steve.
Only about 10% of the bus size 8.5 ton spacecraft is likely.
Wait a minute. Are you saying they're more lucky than the Irish?
I think so. They don't get space stations crashing.
Okay.
I mean, we get them, or at least we're going to.
No, this one might hit us.
It might. In fact, I know that the most danger area is right over Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York. So that means me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I seen the map. It was like right over my house.
I doubt that.
Well,
I doubt it's right over your house.
Plus or minus 200 miles, but something like that. But anyway, so
are you hoping to see it, Steve?
I'm hoping to find pieces of it because that shit sells for good money. Yeah. Anything that has been in space sells for good money.
It's now a space thing. You can say like it's the space metal.
Yeah, you can put space in the title now when you're trying to sell it.
Yeah. You find a fucking screw from that thing. This is a space screw.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I think the most important story of the evening, this one was sent to me several days ago by you.
Yes.
This is from the NewYorkPost.com. And I don't know that I even want to read this story because it hurts just thinking about it, but I'll try. I'll
Okay.
muddle my way through. Men are zapping their penises to treat erectile dysfunction.
I'm in, Steve.
I am not.
Why not?
Move it. Penis zapping does not sound like something I want to engage in. Move aside.
Read on.
Move aside Viagra. There's a new treatment for erectile dysfunction, and it's shocking. I see what they did there. The procedure called Gainswave zapped tens of thousands of sound waves through a man's penis to improve blood flow and enable an erection. Scary as it sounds, urologists and sexual health proponents are getting excited about it. I get it.
Yeah.
People in the community who deal with erectile dysfunction often use the word promising when they talk about this therapy, says Dr. Michael Riatano, the physician in residence of men's health startup Roman, whatever that is, the creators of the erection tracking app Morning Glory. There's an erection tracking app?
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's called Morning Glory. I'm going to have to look that up.
I don't
You
keep
can
up with
track
this stuff, Steve.
You can track your erections via iPhone.
Can you get that in your Fitbit?
I bet you can.
Hmm.
I don't know. Does Fitbit have apps?
I don't know if that's something that you can get with it, but
I don't know. I bet you can. Boy. We're already getting questions from the chat room about our guest tonight. So
we are?
Yeah. Anyway, the therapy is available in a handful of practices in New York City and several more nationwide. Its proponents say the sound wave pulse causes new blood vessels and nerve tissues to grow within the penis, enabling better blood flow and possibly improving tissue sensitivity. So, hey, it's not approved by the Food and Drug Administration yet, but they believe it will be.
So if you yell at a penis,
if you yell enough and loud enough to cause the proper type of
tone,
yes.
Yeah.
So anyway,
if you use the wrong tone, the guy shits himself. So,
anyways, gentlemen and lady, that is the news.
Thank you, Steve. Before we get into anything with Kaylee,
I got an outro this time.
Yeah, you got an outro. I want to bring up the podcast feed that was on Libsyn and iTunes. I let it lapse, unknowing that if I let it lapse at all, that everything would come down,
crash and burn.
And it was, it was costing me money every month to support it, and I mean, to be honest with you guys, without me promoting it and putting it everywhere, literally fucking everywhere, the shows were getting about maybe 30 downloads each. And that's regular downloads. The most I got on some was like 100 and something or so, but it was not, it wasn't viable at this point, to be honest with everyone. I mean, I don't need to be spending $20 a month for 30 people to download the show.
30 loyal fans.
Yeah, very loyal fans. And, the people that do, there are more than that listen to us, though, and they don't or weren't bothering to download it.
We have lazy fans, though.
Yeah, we do have lazy fans. We have a lazy co-host.
We have a lazy producer.
And a lazy host.
Yeah, so we're all lazy.
I had wanted to keep the podcast page up on Libsyn, and I had wanted to keep the iTunes. You have to have the stream to be able to have iTunes, but it's just not viable right now. And like I said, with the amount of downloads that we were getting, I'm not going to waste the money right now.
Not prudent at this juncture.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. Like I said, it's something that I had wanted to do because I know that there are some people that do like to have the MP3 download. Now, for those of you who have an issue with listening to us on YouTube because of the data, download it onto your phone or whatever when you're at home, and then just listen to it later.
We've already established, Chris, that our listeners are not that motivated.
Well, I mean, if they really want to listen to the show and not have to worry about their
data,
to
it at home for now, and if it picks up, we'll put it back.
And I may be able to still do something where I put the audio onto Google so that people can download it. I did that at one point.
Well, the deal with iTunes is that you have to have some sort of server, and there aren't any free servers out there that give you enough space.
Well, they give you an RSS feed.
Yeah, you need an RSS feed to get on iTunes, and so that you need to pay for that because there's nowhere that'll do it for free.
Right, and the thing that pissed me off about Libsyn was, I paid for my previous months in my storage, but the minute you let 1 month lapse, they wipe out your whole show. Everything you've put up before, and the current month.
Bastards.
Yeah, so you pay for that month, which you get that, that storage for that month. I think it was $20 a month I was spending for 400 megabytes. And the minute I lapsed 1 month, everything was gone. So, yeah, it's just going to be, it's going to be a while. So, for those of you that listen to the show that way, I apologize. I'm sorry. It's just something I can't do right now. YouTube is much easier. So, without further ado, we will bring on Kaylee. If she wants to unmute herself. Is she still there? Did we lose her? We need some. Yeah, we need music.
I am here.
There she is. Welcome, Kaylee Hathaway, to the show. She hails from Michigan. I won't say exactly where you're at, dear.
Thank you. I am here.
So,
you will need to mute.
Do you have headphones?
Hathaway to the show.
Mute the actual YouTube video.
Yeah, because we can hear everything.
Now I don't.
Yes.
There, that's better.
Yeah, it's sort of like listening to a show on the radio and then calling in. You don't do that. So, if you would, because we spoke a little bit last night, but as I told you, I didn't want to get too far into it because, I like to have the conversations be organic. If you want to tell us a little about yourself, what you want to say anyway, and what it is that you are. Well, we can get more into the doomsday prepping, but what kind of got you into that?
What got me started prepping?
Did she hear me? Did we lose her again?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I just asked you a question.
Yeah.
You started liking camping.
Well, it started just taking the little kids camping, and it.
We're having an issue with audio.
Yeah, she cuts in and out sometimes.
All right.
We'll get there. Kaylee, do you know Patrick Epistemon?
All right. The audio is really behind, so.
You need to listen to us in the Hangout, not the show.
Yeah. All right. I'm here. How's that?
Can you hear us?
Fine.
We can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, that's better.
Perfect.
Okay. You took the kids camping.
Yeah, it really started just taking the kids camping and being out in nature. I was teaching them, what plants are friendly, what plants aren't, and they really enjoyed it. It's more of a hobby than anything. It's fun.
Being a prepper's fun.
It is. It's fun. A lot of people think it's fear-based. There's no fear. I'm not sitting, huddled in a corner every day. I find it fun.
I sit huddled in a corner every day.
Well, if I lived your life, I would too. So what is it?
In my mind, everybody is a prepper.
Okay.
Even if you don't think you are, everybody's a prepper. You know, people have first aid kits, they have fire extinguishers. Every school has, you know, tornado drills and fire drills. That's prepping. It's
Small scale.
yeah, it's a smaller scale, but it's hoping for the best but preparing for the worst. That's all it is.
Okay.
Shit,
so
I've been
what
doing
are-
it backwards.
What are the things that you're doing then?
Well, I have plenty supply of food. I have a 60-foot long greenhouse for growing food. We have meat rabbits for meat. I'm always studying new skills, foraging, hunting, trapping, you know, building shelters, self-defense.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's an important one, I'm sure.
It is. I mean, prepping really comes in handy, even if you're not handy for everyday things. Say you lose your job, you have a stockpile of food at home. You know, you don't have to run through all your money real quick.
I have a question. You mentioned stockpiling food. How many cans of Spam do you have stockpiled at this point?
I have no Spam. I hate Spam.
Son of a... Oh,
I hate Spam.
That's it.
come on.
You're out
What
in
about...
Steve's book.
Okay, wait. Let me ask this. How many peeps? You got to have peeps.
I have peeps.
No, peeps.
Oh, okay. I have like 2 boxes of peeps from the kids.
Okay, there you go. So now you're okay. You're back in my
Oh, okay.
graces. Now, wait, people who don't like Spam, you know, I have an issue.
Oh dear God.
Well,
Go
you know
ahead.
what we did with peeps?
With the legitimate
Makes-
questions.
Okay.
No, I want to know what you did with the peeps. I really do.
We burnt them. We made s'mores out of them.
Oh, s'more peeps. I like
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Watching them burn was pretty cool too.
I have now considered becoming a real prepper if I get s'more peeps.
That's what's got you in.
Peeps and
Steve.
Spam.
Peeps and Spam. If I can be promised peeps and Spam, I'm going to be a prepper.
All right, let's do it.
It's an important food to have, though. I mean, if you did like it seriously, it would be a good a type of thing to, I don't know, stockpile, because it will last.
Outlast everything.
Yes,
You won't get much.
Jellied meat.
I like jellied meat. Okay, next question. Go ahead, Chris. Your turn.
I'm gonna pull one from the chat room.
Oh,
Western New York Bigfoot, which is Ryan Redding, as far as we know, anyway. Where is the best location for a prepper to live, if you know?
Country every day, out in the country.
I was going to say in a house, but
Yeah, well, in the city, rural life, you're going to have more people than resources. So it's going to be person against person. There's going to be a lot of violence. You need to get the heck out of Dodge if you're in the city.
Oh, I've said for a long time, once the fucking electricity goes out, it's shit. It's going to be a fucking nightmare.
it'd be a shitstorm, right?
People are going to be desperate. They're going to be hungry. They're going to be angry. You know, they're going to be scared. If you have something, they're going to want it.
You have like your flank side with a swamp or something.
Para Breakdown, who is our good friend Bob, has the question of what are the best weapons to have for the Doomsday, or any eventual, you know, whatever it may be.
Are we talking
Doomsday.
firearms?
Well, weapons in general.
Weapons in general.
Well, let's see. I am really fond of shotguns. My husband loves the SKS, but your most powerful weapon, I'm going to say, is your own brain.
I knew that was coming.
Yours, Steve, would fail.
Well, I would be the first to go in the event of Doomsday. I already know it, because I don't have a stockpile of Spam at this point, and I have no weapons, so I'm done. And I'm not smart.
What's really funny is like people look at it like they'd be in trouble out there, and it's really not. It's just living without
to practice.
electricity.
There's a lot of ways to practice, you know, for prepping. A lot of it is, like I said, it's just going out camping. With us, it just started with camping, going out in the middle of the woods and having fun, you know, learning how to build fires. I mean, well, being in Michigan, water isn't hard to come by. I mean, we have lakes and streams and marshes and whatnot. Water is not hard to come by.
And you can always buy those filtration units.
Yeah, we have those. We have little life water straws. They filter it out.
Yeah. So you're not really like one of those bunker people. You're more just like being prepared.
Yeah, we're just prepared.
Yeah, I try to generalize. I don't have one specific incidence in mind. Some people, let's say they're married to one idea. There's going to be a nuclear fallout, nuclear war, right? So they have a bunker. They're all ready to bunker down in one spot. And let's say a tsunami hits. Well, he's fucked.
Yeah.
He has no second plan.
Oh, the bunker's probably gonna flood.
Right.
Hits, right?
Yeah.
Well,
you see, you can either bug in, which is staying in one spot, or you can bug out. We have both plans in place.
You could drop you off, and you'd survive. I mean, not too many people could do that, Kaylee. That's because you prepared mentally on how to do that.
So, how likely do you think it is that there is going to be some sort of doomsday type event that you'll need to use these skills? And how soon do you think something like that would come?
There's a lot of turmoil. Well, if you're looking at like natural disasters, that can happen anytime. If you're looking at when brought disasters, the next door neighbor could get high off of, PCP and go on a rampage. That can happen at any time.
You live close to Chris?
I don't do PCP, Steve. Come on now.
I'm sorry. I just assumed.
Space.
Yeah, if we're looking at, war, nuclear war, think we're on the brink of a nuclear war right now. There's a lot of upsets in this country right now, so there might be, civil type war violence.
Right. So you don't prep for like you said, you don't prep for just a man-made disaster. You prep for natural stuff as well, then.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you're ready for government and everything.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So you're ready for everything.
I have a family, and I'm quite no matter what happens, I would want them to make it through.
Right.
I mean, who wouldn't?
It's admirable. Sure.
Right.
I mean, I don't think the whole idea is like absolutely, crazy.
No.
I don't know how, how effective it would be under certain circumstances. I mean, I know that there was a time when people lived off the fucking land and did all that shit. But, in the event of some of these events that could happen, I wonder how effective it could actually be.
Well, like what?
Scenario.
There's all kinds of different scenarios. A super volcano. If the Yellowstone super volcano ever fucking goes, we're pretty much all done in the U.S.
Yeah, we were talking about that today.
If that thing blows, it's game over.
Well, see, I have a plan in place for that too. What you do is you bend over, you put your head between your legs, and you kiss your ass.
Okay, so you've prepped for every situation. I mean, there's obviously some things that you can't. I mean, no matter what you do,
right?
If they drop a nuclear bomb in your town, you're done for. I mean, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, there is no retaliation for that.
Right.
We live in a little town, though, away from big cities.
Well, sometimes I wonder because I don't know if you're familiar with Erie, PA, but I live near Erie, and it's a huge industrial town. And I think a lot of, if another country was wanting to bomb a place, an industrial type place would be like maybe Detroit, or because that's, I mean, you cripple the industry, you cripple, the country really. So I always wonder, and you guys aren't, I'm not sure how far from Detroit you are being in Michigan, but a place like that would be a target.
Right, we're on the other side of the state.
Okay. So some of the smaller places that we don't think of, I think would also, actually be targets because there's certain industries in those areas that another country may want to target to cripple the economy and cripple, everything. So
Right.
I don't know. You're not immune from certain things, no matter where you're at.
Yeah. I mean,
unless you're in Canada. Canadians are lucky.
they are lucky. They have the luck of the fucking Irish, I guess. But I mean, I think even being out in the country, I mean, yeah, you can be prepared. And like I said, there are people who lived off the land, and there are people who kind of still do. But I just wonder how effective it would be overall in the grand scheme of things when it comes down to these events. What how ultimately effective it would be, but it's not something that I think is absolutely crazy. We prepare for shit. We we have instincts that
Well, if you're
still
not going to
make
put up any kind of fight, to survive, you're not going to survive.
True.
absolutely. But we still run on instincts where a good percentage of our master bedrooms are on the second floor of the house because we still have that trying to stay away from predators on the ground.
Is that why we put it up there?
Well, it's obviously it's not everyone, but it's a good percentage of people.
Yeah, and you sleep kind of away from the door,
Right.
so anybody comes in.
Those are all things that are held over from what I would consider evolution.
Richard had a question in the chat room. Do preppers have ferrets?
This prepper does not.
Oh, so ferrets are out of the question, Richard.
Yeah, you lose.
We'd end up eating
As far as hunting animals go, I would have a dog. I do have a dog, but you can't have a dog that can't carry its own weight. Like the little lap dogs that just take up time and resources when all of that is already limited.
I'm going to go on record right now and say I hate lap dogs. I can't stand them.
Absolutely.
Might as well have a cat. I'm sorry.
No, cats aren't that annoying.
Oh my god.
Well, you're right. I am not a lap dog fan. Our dog is 15 years old, and she's not going to last much longer. And my wife and I had the discussion, and it will not be a lap dog if we get another dog ever. So, because like you said, all they are is an annoying little thing that
my lap dog is about 100 pounds.
There you go. That's the kind of dog I want.
I tell people, real lap dog takes up the whole lap.
But in Richard's defense, Richard raises ferrets to hunt rabbits. So it would actually be something that you could do if you were into that sort of thing. If you had ferret hunting rabbit, or rabbit hunting. Right. Yeah, ferret hunting rabbits. That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be very cool. I breed and grow my own meat rabbits. Yeah. So I wouldn't need that.
But he does that, and so I mean he's like already on the way to being a prepper. Because now
there you go.
He's going to have plenty of rabbit to eat.
Way to go, Richard.
There you go.
The other day I shot myself a squirrel, and I had squirrel stew. And believe it or not, we all sat down. So we're all sitting there eating squirrel stew. I'm going, hey kids, how do you like it? Isn't it good? Yeah, it's really good. It's juicy. Squirrel.
Yeah. Is she cutting out for you too, Chris?
Yes, she's cutting out a little bit for me too.
A little bit, not bad, Kaylee, but you do cut out sometimes.
All right. Well, I have a crappy ass computer.
So do I. So I'm so big.
But basically, you were saying you had squirrel stew.
Yep. I have 3 little girls, a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old, and they all ate it. There were no leftovers.
No, I've had squirrel stew before, and it's delicious.
Squirrel, aren't you?
Yeah.
Rabbit is my favorite. I love rabbit.
Some rabbit?
I love some. My grandma used to make the best rabbit. Oh my god, it was so good. So what kind of stockpiles do you have food-wise, Kaylee?
A lot of dry goods, flour, rice, beans, things of that nature.
And I mean, do you have like a whole room in your house or garage or underground bunker?
Yep, I do.
Are you a couponer too? One of those extreme couponer?
I am not an extreme couponer.
Because you can get it so cheap,
when a coupon happens in my lap, I'll use it.
I'm just saying.
But don't forget cooking oil. One of the things that people run out of will be cooking oil, sugar, and salt. Those are things that you're going to want to have.
Really?
Yep.
Well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you can do a lot of things with cooking oil.
Yep. It's hard to make, things like fry bread or something without cooking oil.
And I'm sure, I mean, you could probably even, cooking oil is used in place of, diesel fuel for those types of vehicles that take that.
But, if you run out.
Conversion thing, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, but a prepper would know that. I'm sure a lot of preppers do that because they know that in the future there won't be a gas supply. If you don't have gas, you can use used cooking oil to run a diesel if you have the converter, and they're not that hard to make or get. So yeah, cooking oil makes a lot of sense. Salt makes a lot. You got to have salt.
Yeah. You preserve your food with salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget about salt.
I totally would have fucking forgot about salt.
Man, I'm in because you got
commodities. Once shit hits the fan, one of the most important commodities, as far as I'm concerned, is going to be the alcohol. I mean, you can't just run to the store and buy alcohol. You have to know how to make your own alcohol.
Do you know how to make your own alcohol?
Maybe.
Maybe. It's not illegal unless you're making moonshine out in the middle of the woods with Uncle Jesse.
Yeah.
Right.
And the Duke boys running it.
Which I am definitely not doing, by the way.
My grandfather was an old-time moonshiner back in the Prohibition days, and he continued to make it for many, many years. He's passed away now, so I can tell everybody, but he had left some after he died. I found some in the barn, and that stuff was wow.
Knocked you out, did it?
I didn't even get to sip any of it. I put my finger in there and put it on my tongue, and that was enough for me. I mean, that stuff was wow. Yeah, good stuff. But you could start a fire with it.
Oof.
Yeah, it was strong.
Yeah.
No, I took it to my house. I had a mobile home at the time, and my wife didn't like paying the rent, so we got booted, and I accidentally left it in the bathroom. I don't know what happened to it.
I may have drank some of that at a wedding I went to last year.
But yeah, I guess that would be important too. Another thing is because you can do a lot with alcohol too. I mean, you can treat wounds with it, and you can drink it, and you can start fires with it. So there you go.
Another thing, you have to keep your health in mind. You have to can't just run around being dirty. You can't shit where you eat.
Well, yeah, that's a given right there.
Yeah. Some people forget. I mean, you have to keep yourself clean.
True.
If you have any health issues, you're going to want to keep that in mind.
What was the movie with the guy and his kid?
The Road.
The Road. That was filmed actually locally here.
That was an awful show. The guy with the cart.
Did he have a cart? He had his young son with him, but it was a Doomsday.
Oh, that show
movie.
pissed me off.
He lived by.
Shouldn't have even lived that long. That was ridiculous.
But that kind of, I think, is what a lot of people look at when they see a doomsday scenario, is something like that, where it's basically a fight for survival, and you got to do what you got to do to get by.
Yeah, you're gonna see things. You might even do things that you wouldn't imagine that you'd ever have to do.
Right.
You got to keep pushing on. It's a mindset. You can dwell on it, or you can survive.
Now, the media obviously portrays folks like you not in a great light. I mean, it's it's right up there with UFOs and Bigfoot researchers and folks like us.
It's definitely a fringe thing.
Yeah. Well, it may not be mainstream, which, well, mostly I'm pretty proud of, but our numbers are rising. They're quietly rising.
Well, I do know you and one other prepper at this point, and so far I find you actually quite enjoyable to talk to. And the other guy,
thank you.
Yeah, the guy I know, he's fairly normal, and he's a little crazy, but it's not because he's a prepper, that kind of thing. And I've had conversations. Well, because he hangs out with me, but that kind of fairly normal guy. And so far, I'm like, because I don't know any personally in my personal life anybody who does that. So, but it's not that much different than, like you said, everybody's kind of a prepper in their own way. So it's not that, it shouldn't be that far of a fringe thing.
Yeah,
but it is portrayed that way.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people look at preppers, like, see, I don't know, maybe running around with maybe a mullet and half of their teeth.
Right. More of a redneck style lifestyle. Yeah. Well, and that's
I wouldn't even go redneck so much. I mean, some people just worry, about that shit.
Right.
And that doesn't necessarily need to be, a redneck type of person.
Well, you know what I'm saying. I mean, I think
I know that's, but I personally don't see it that way. But, that's me.
Yeah, it's kind of funny though when shit hits the fan, everybody will come to you for help and stuff.
Right. What does your family think about what you're doing? Your extended family, obviously your immediate family, your daughters and whatnot understand, but what does your extended family think?
Honestly, they don't know much about it.
Okay.
I mean,
is that by design or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll let something, slip once in a while. I'll be like, oh, guess what I got today? I got, a new gun. I don't. They see small things, but
like night vision.
I don't think anybody ever puts it together unless I say something.
So when you get that pallet of spam coming in, they don't see that. I'm hooked on spam. Sorry, I'm going to keep going there.
Steve, you're the only one that gets a fucking pallet of spam.
And I would enjoy every minute of it, but I wouldn't be able to save any of it. That's the problem. I'd be a horrible prepper.
Be like, well, it's spam again this week, honey.
Chocolate. That's something you could save chocolate to use that as currency. I didn't think about that. Chocolate.
Chocolate's great because not only does
they're talking about fish and hooks.
Yeah.
Dark chocolate. Dark chocolate needles. Is high in magnesium, and
it is
great for you. So
yeah, it's really healthy
because you're going to need. I mean, assuming a doomsday event happens, like the zombie apocalypse or whatever, you're going to need sources of vitamins and
antibiotics,
magnesium, but you're going to need to get it from different sources than what's widely available today because you're not going to be able to find it. Obviously, your stores are going to be out of it and things like that.
You need to know where to find food. You need to know how to
make antibiotics,
what's edible, what's friendly, what's not. Dandelions are edible, cattails are edible, clovers are edible. You're going to want to know the plants in your area. You're not going to want to sit down.
I'm sitting right now.
You are?
Yeah.
I thought you always stood.
Hopefully you're not eating poison oak.
No, I don't think I've ever eaten poison oak. Not anytime recently, anyway. No, that's not on my.
I have eaten a poisonous plant. It's not pleasant.
I have actually been involved with poison oak and poison ivy, and neither one of them affect me in the way it affects most people, which is a good thing. But I don't think I want to eat either one. So
the last time I had poison ivy, I got it everywhere. Literally everywhere.
I can roll around in the shit, and that doesn't affect me.
No, when my husband was little, he sat in it. He sat right in it, and it was all over all of his junk.
My bathing suit.
Man, what's it like to have
bushes and change my bathing suit?
I don't want to know what it's like to have poison ivy all over your well, you like she said, junk. I don't think diapers. That would be, oh God.
Well, I'm like when I was a kid standing up.
I'm well on my way to wearing adult diapers, but I don't think I want to hasten it by getting poison ivy on my, man jewels.
Well,
man parts.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because I can picture that.
It was horrible.
Well, you don't want to picture. Yeah. By the way, we've heard from your husband, but we don't know his name. I don't.
Larry.
Oh, this is Larry. Yep.
Oh, Larry, that's a great name. I like that name.
It's a dying out name. Nobody has that
Yeah.
anymore.
So is
Daryl and Daryl as well. But,
are you the reason that she got involved in this, Larry?
Yeah, kind of. I seen that she was interested a little bit, so it just kept
He
showing her
helped
more.
expand my knowledge.
Then I just like kind of dropped, like, what would you do if somebody pulled a gun on you and stuff like that? And then I showed her how to take it away, like within a. But I mean, see, and I started telling her, like, you know, not to be afraid of bigger people, how she could actually hit with more power than like 90% of the men. I'm just trying to show her stuff like that, and she just showed interest in it, you know. So I was like, just kept going along, and she liked it. And next thing you know, we were doing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
it's good. Good to have a husband and wife hobby.
Yeah, hobby.
Mine is going to thrift stores with
coming
my
from
wife.
you.
but- Oh yeah, well we like to crochet a lot too, but
No, let's not go there, Steve.
come on.
Let's not go to your crocheting bullshit innuendo. It doesn't work well. Let's just not.
All right. Let's
You know,
get
you
let's
think
get
about all that prepping stuff, and you ever wonder, like we're ready for it, and we'll be like sitting in our house, right, watching people, and people will be out there going crazy, and we'll be sitting at home like
Getting
totally,
fat.
totally comfortable.
Well, what happens though when people find out you have the stuff? You know,
That's
Well,
what the SKS is
we
for.
have security. Yeah.
We got an SKS with a with a bayonet on it. We got piles of ammo. Yeah, we can sit there and cook up our guns if they get hot enough.
so don't fuck with you, is what you're saying. Because it won't end well.
Yeah, whoever tries to take anything, I mean, well, first of all, you can trade with people. But when you start
Right.
trading with people, they might realize how much you have, right?
Right.
That's when you have to make them understand that taking from you is not an option.
Right, you're not going to allow that to happen. That's what
Right.
you're
You sometimes you can see thoughts forming in people's brains. That's when you have, just like training a dog. You see a dog start thinking about something that you don't want him to do. You have to stop it right there. That's the same thing you have to do to a person.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody's coming for your shit and, you know, they're a
Right.
threat to you in that instance, then yeah, I would say yes.
I think prepping goes back to our basic human instincts. I mean, obviously it's fight for the fittest, or fight of the fittest, or survival in its most basic form, really.
Right. Absolutely everybody used to be a prepper. It's fallen out now that we have convenience of modern everyday things. You know, people say, well, if anything happens, I'll just run to the store real quick. Oh, I got face palm.
Now, obviously there are prepper Facebook groups that you can get into, and I know that you're a member of at least one of them. And but are there like conventions and things that you go to, or you know, to meet with other preppers to get ideas and things like that?
No.
I mean, like, you know, ufology has UFO
You want to
conventions.
know something?
Bigfoot-
Honestly, it's probably not really good to tell people you're a prepper. Like you're saying, people know that you have something,
right?
and they'll try to run and try to take what you have, and then you have to kill them.
Yeah.
But I
One of the
wondered if-
first rules of prepping is to not talk about prepping.
Uh-oh.
Like
you're
Fight
breaking
Club.
the rule.
Right.
No, I wonder, because if you know of other people in your area that you can network with, wouldn't that be
you
a
know,
good thing in the future?
It tends to come out, you know. You can identify your own kinds.
Okay.
You don't have to come up straight up and say, hey, what's your name? I'm a prepper. Are you a prepper? You don't have to go through all that.
Wouldn't you want to be a prepper too? Oh, sorry. Old TV
He's a
reference.
prepper. She's a prepper.
God.
Hey, see, these people get me, Chris.
Yeah, I don't get you at all.
I'm sorry. I'm not on top of my game tonight, so you'll have to forgive me. But
Steve's got a headache.
I get
Oh,
migraines.
no.
I
You
need
know,
a
willow
Steve
bark is
hurts.
really good for that.
I'm gonna go out and find a willow tree then.
Start
He doesn't
chewing on it.
The dog.
He doesn't drink.
Doesn't drink.
No, I don't drink. I don't smoke anymore. I used to.
Well,
I do vape.
yeah, go find a willow tree.
I'll just start. Do I just lick it?
Just
No.
chew the bark, Steve.
Oh, chew the bark. Okay.
Actually, that is a good way. You chew it, and then all the juices come out, and you like stick it.
Is that commercially available? Can I run down to Dollar General and?
Yeah, it's called
I
aspirin.
don't think Dollar General.
That's where aspirin comes from, Steve.
Yes, I know this, Chris.
Oh, okay.
Not really. I'm just pretending I do so I look better.
If you say a lot of really big words.
Yeah. Well, I don't know very many big words.
Yes, we know, based on how you read the fucking news. Every
Yeah, like,
week.
did you ever talk to him about like the different levels of preparedness? Like,
There you go.
stages, how to do things in stages.
We'd like to hear about the stages.
Yeah.
You can do it. Like, first thing you do is like find shelf.
Shelter. Good.
Yeah.
Let's say we talked about bugging in. Let's say you bug out. You need to have your priorities straight. Your first concern is going to be shelter. You're going to have to find shelter. You know, people get wet, they get cold, they get sick. You don't want to be sick. So first thing you want is shelter. The second thing you're going to want.
Give me my wallet.
You're gonna
Or
want
do
your
I
wallet?
have your wallet?
I think my kids are gonna have my wallet.
Okay. So the second thing you want is fire. Now, fire is a skill. This is something that you're going to want to practice at. Hopefully you thought ahead. You know, you have matches or a lighter or something like that. If you don't, you're going to have to start a friction fire, which is harder. And, you know, it's something that you generally need practice at before you get it ever.
We've all
I've
seen
actually,
Cast
I've
Away.
actually done a friction fire with a bow. And
Have you? See,
yeah.
you're a beginning prepper and you don't even know it.
I've also made fire with flint and steel. So been there.
Good job. Props to you.
I don't have any of that stuff handy, but I used to be into that
Okay,
stuff.
my favorite fire
It's with
is called
ice.
my favorite. Yours is with ice. My favorite is called a Dakota fire. You ever heard of a Dakota fire?
No.
No.
Okay, so you dig into this little U shape into the ground, right? It's going to have 2 holes, and you make it's a small fire. You make a small fire inside of the ground in 1 hole, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you want, you can make kind of like a little cover. It doesn't have any smoke. It's a lot harder to detect. If you want to be invisible, that's the fire that you make.
Yeah, 2 holes that are shaped like a U.
Yeah.
You dig 2 holes right next to each other, and then when you dig down for enough, you connect them together.
I want to
And
hear
what it
about
does
this
is
ice.
It sucks air
Oh, I
down.
want to hear about the ice fire.
The ice fire.
Yeah. That sounds
You
awesome.
you take ice and you
Shape it.
you flatten it out a little bit and you shape it like a lens, like a magnifying lens.
Ah, I see.
Then that turns into a magnifying glass, and then you start a fire.
Yeah,
The same way you would
focus
with a
the light.
magnifying
You
glass.
Focus the light right from the sun.
A lot of people don't know houses have caught on fire because the sun has shined through ice and caught people's houses on fire, leaving. Yeah, it's a easy way to start fire is with ice. You know, people think, oh, I can't find no sticks. Well, if you can find something that'll ignite easy, like me, around here we have a lot of birch, so I take birch and I'll scratch, take the bark off, and then once you got the bark off, I'll take a knife and scrape it and shavings off it, and then hit it with that, and it ignites instantly. It's like really
there's an
flammable.
oil inside of the bark that's
It's really
that's-
flammable.
yeah.
Poof, and you got fire.
Okay, so we got
Poof.
shelter. We've got fire. I'm going to guess. Can I guess the next one?
Go ahead.
Water.
Oh my goodness! See, look, you're a natural.
Yep. Yeah, you can only survive 3 days without water. You got to have water.
Yep.
You can
Yep.
go a while without food.
Yeah, I would think water would be number 2, not number 3, but because I mean
Well,
water
you
is
need a
essential.
fire. You need a fire to stay warm. You need a fire to boil your water. You're not going to want to drink, you know, bacteria and parasites that it's inside, probably stagnant water. So fire does take number 2.
Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. What's after water then?
After water is food.
Food. Obvious.
That's your last concern is food. You can last weeks without food. I mean, it might be uncomfortable, you know, not having any Spam laying around.
I know.
But once you have those kind of things going, then you can actually work on making yourself a better house.
You can make
You know what I
spam
mean?
out of rabbit, right?
I've never tried to make
Just-
Spam out of
Just
rabbit.
for
I've
you,
just-
Steve.
Rabbit spam. That sounds awesome. No, I actually did a survival class when I was younger, so I kind of know a little bit. We used to make these solar. It made water. You know what I'm talking about? It was a solar thing, and it was made out of plastic.
Oh yeah, solar still.
Yeah,
Yep.
solar still. We used to make those.
Here in Michigan, we have water up our asses.
Well,
but,
yeah, I'm right on Lake
anywhere
Erie.
else. So. Yeah, we're right on Lake Michigan. We have the Pier Marquette River. We have Lake Michigan. Oh.
Why don't you just give us your coordinates while you're?
Yeah, I was just looking at her.
No, slow down, stop, don't tell.
Anyways.
Yes.
639 Lincoln Avenue.
And that solar thing, though, that is a good thing for people to know, though.
Yeah. So if you're not anywhere near water, you can just you dig a hole in the ground, and you can have a empty container. You put an empty container inside the hole, and you put plastic over that hole, and you find something with just a little bit of weight, a small rock, anything. You put the container, and the sun will shine through the plastic. Any moisture that's inside the ground will evaporate, hit the plastic. It'll kind of trail down to where your rock is, where your weight is, and it'll drip right into the container.
You can also use your pee that way too. Heat up your pee so you just get all the bad stuff out of the pee and just get the water. Right.
And it's basically a cone shaped, and then, it's cone shaped. You kind of dig a hole. I mean, or you could do it. I'm sure you could do it above ground with rocks and things too, but we always did the hole, and doesn't make a lot of water, but it could be enough to survive a day. You can also, in the desert, if you're out in the desert and you have a vehicle that was in the desert for all of its life, or in a warmer climate, well, people in warmer climates don't always use antifreeze in their radiators. So you can drain your radiator if it's only ever had water in it. So that's another way to get some water in an emergency situation. See, I know what I'm doing.
I wouldn't drink radiated water myself, Steve.
Well, you do it the way he was just talking about. Yeah, you can sweat it.
You got to do what you got to do to survive in those situations. You can make a fire off your car battery if you have to. Mm-hmm. Spark the wires together. Daggone it, I'm a prepper and I didn't even know it.
You wear a cowboy hat, Steve.
Sometimes.
Hey,
I've retired the cowboy hat.
Yeah, I've heard people talk about drinking pool water. They say, "Oh, we have a pool out in the back. We're all covered for water." Now, what do you guys think about that?
I'm gonna guess the chlorine content in the pool water wouldn't be good over time.
Yep. Obviously, you don't want to drink that without some sort of chemical processing.
Seems like they'd give you the poop.
Yeah, there's a lot of chemicals in pools.
Well, because it's over chlorinized. I mean, it's not like drinking water, which has a little bit of chlorine in it if you're in the city. I don't know what you guys. I don't know if you guys have a well or city water or what you have, but well water, you're pretty good. But yeah, that's a lot of chlorine in a pool. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, in an emergency, you might.
I wonder if it turn your skin blue after a while.
Turn your hair green. I know that. If you're in there, I mean, we used to have a pool in our school. And we had a swimming class every day for gym. It was part of the year we had swimming. And by the end of the year, I had blonde hair, but by the end of the year, it was tinted green because we were in the pool so much, So I don't know what that would do to your innards, but I don't want to find out by drinking it consistently. Now, if you have, I think in an emergency situation, if you had to drink something and it was there, maybe try boiling it to get some of the bad shit out of there, because who knows?
One time drink probably wouldn't hurt too bad. Only wouldn't make it my main source of water.
No, you're going to have to come up with different sources. But living on a lake or even a river or whatever, as long as you have fire and you can boil that water, you should be all right. There's water everywhere unless you're out in the Mojave or something.
What is a goat preppers society?
Are you guys reading the chat room? Don't read the chat room ever.
Don't read the chat room.
Stay away from the chat room. Not worth it.
What was I going to say? I was going to stop it. Being near a body of water, you have ample food supply.
Right. Every
Well,
animal that needs to survive needs water. So if you're near water, you're near any type of animal that you can also eat.
Right. Yep. Yep.
There's other
Fish
things.
and crawdads. We have snails. You can eat snails.
There's like
Escargot, right?
different types of scenarios too. Like I try to teach people like how to.
We have beaver.
be
Have you ever tried
invisible.
eating beaver?
Oh yeah, I love eating beaver.
Oh, Jesus.
Right. Thank you. Somebody gets my humor, Chris.
Stop encouraging him.
Richard
right
likes it
now.
too. Richard's back.
Richard only comes in to admonish me every once in a while, or Chris, depending. Usually me.
It's fun.
Let's talk more about this beaver.
No, let's not. So how long have you guys been into this? Doing this?
10 years.
Almost 10 years now. You know, it starts small. You probably won't even realize you're doing it like people, but you know, it starts pretty small, and then it just kind of builds from there. You know, you start researching, you start gaining skills, and then you kind of start collecting.
One of the things I like doing is trying to figure out like how to be invisible. Like you could be living in an area and nobody knows you're there hunting. You could be hunting and everything and nobody even knows you're there doing it right under their noses.
Well, there was a guy in Maine who lived out in the woods. He wasn't far from, and he wasn't really that far out, and he was stealing from campgrounds and stuff for years.
No, not that kind of.
No. I mean,
no.
I get what you're saying, but he was like right there, and nobody knew it.
Yeah, he was invisible. Well, how long was he out there? Like 20 years or something?
It was a crazy amount of time.
Yeah.
Was he wanted by the law or what?
No.
No, they just found him. They were having issues. The campgrounds were realizing that somebody was stealing, and if I remember correctly, he got caught stealing from one of the campgrounds. He got turned in, and then they found his little campsite, and he was like 20 some odd years he was out there in the woods.
He wasn't just robbing campsites, he was robbing houses as well.
Yeah,
Right. But only for the things he needed to survive, like food. I think he used some like fuel, but nothing. You know, it wasn't anything that.
so he was a good thief.
Yeah, he was just doing it to survive.
Hmm.
But
I'm going to disagree with you here on this because
He's a good thief.
20 years in the fucking woods and the dude didn't learn how to catch fucking his own dinner.
No, he did not. He was a
I'm
bad
just
lazy.
homeless guy.
Yeah, I would
I was
strongly
thinking that,
suggest
too. He's
not
lazy.
going into other people's houses and stealing from them. That's what's going to get you killed.
Yeah.
Right. In your scenario, it certainly will. Well, even in any scenario.
Yeah, you can find out what my gun looks like on the other side.
Right. But he would do it when the campers left for the season, or he wasn't robbing camps that were occupied. You know,
Being
that kind
invisible
of
is definitely.
What was that?
Definitely
I didn't catch that.
thing. Yeah, you cut out there after being invisible. That's all we heard.
Oh, yeah, being invisible is a great skill to have.
Yeah, I'd love to be invisible.
Like
Pretty
we
much.
have night vision. We have like super hearing, like those little guns you can bring with you. It can hear really far. So basically,
Parabolic.
yeah, you can do some serious stalking up on your enemies or whatever. But I cannot hear no more. So
All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap the show up. Kaylee, it was nice having you on. Larry as well.
Daryl.
And your other brother Daryl. This has been the Fortean Slip, episode 19, countdown to Doomsday. If you like this shit, hit the little thumbs up button. If you don't, hit the little thumbs down button. Leave a comment. Subscribe. Check out Richard's comic strip at Bigfootin' with Keith and Colin on Facebook, or Bigfootin' with Keith and Colin on Facebook. Anyway, check out Steve at Steve. Check out Matt Knapp at youtube.com/bigfootcrossroads. I'm pretty sure he's still doing something. I don't know though.
Sometimes when he feels like it.
I don't know. And as always, check out Dred Funn at dredfunn.com and youtube.com/Dred Funn. Hopefully next week we'll be back with another riveting show. I'd like to do something about speculative biology, Steve, at some point.
I'll get right on that.
Yeah, I figured you would. But anyway, see ya!